Hey everyone, DoubleCritFail here, and heroforge just responded to the paid Daggerheart DLC controversy, and the announcement has the community split, with some applauding heroforge's new path forward, as others expressed disappointment at its long-term ramifications. While I don't consider myself a current events channel, I felt it was important to close a loop on this issue, and for those of you out of the loop, you can check out my previous video for the full context. But to summarize, on Monday, heroforge released 3 Daggerheart content packs priced at $7.99 each. The result was an immediate and intense backlash against paywall DLC. There were calls for boycotts, pro users canceled their subscriptions, and social feeds were flooded with criticism. On Thursday, heroforge responded to the controversy. Their statement's too long to read in full, but here are a few key excerpts. We appreciate that the heroforge community is incredibly passionate and so readily willing to share. Feedback helps us ensure we're making the best creative platform we can all imagine together. We hear you, and we're working with Darrington Press on a new path forward. So let's pause right there for a second, because the fact that heroforge responded so quickly and transparently is worth commending. Many companies would have doubled down or simply ignored the outrage, but heroforge has a history of addressing widespread community concerns head-on, and this is no exception. As for how they arrived at this decision to charge for Daggerheart materials in the first place, they explained that, as I suspected, it originated due to their partnership with Darrington Press. Quote, larger brands required more than what we offered in previous collaborations, which focused mostly on cross-promotion and shared community excitement. For big IPs, there needed to be a benefit beyond visibility, namely a financial one. As we dug into a solution, we discovered that splitting profits on purchased miniatures wasn't viable. Mixed IP miniatures created complications around licensing fees and branding. It simply wasn't something we can navigate. This answers one of the biggest questions people like myself had: why Darrington Press couldn't simply take a cut of each miniature sold. From my interpretation of this, heroforge expected to bring in several different IP partners in the future, and the logistics of tracking which company was owed what for each individual model became too complex. That in itself suggests that there were already other potential IP collaborations in the works, and we'll get to the future of those in a moment. Because first, I wanted to share this interesting insight that heroforge used to justify this decision. Earlier this year, we sent out our annual heroforge survey, which included questions regarding expanded IP offerings. While 32% of respondents expressed disinterest or even a strong preference against, the majority, 68%, were between somewhat interested and very interested in an offering of IP items, even if it meant the additional content was paid. So here's the survey that they're referencing, and I would actually love to see a deeper breakdown of that data, because depending on how those percentages are distributed, you could interpret this as strong support or just lukewarm tolerance for paid IP content. After all, a graph that looked like this would paint a very different picture than one that looked like this. So now let's get to the real meat of the announcement. So what happens now? We're working with Darrington Press to give access to all Daggerheart collaborator collections to current and future Pro and Pro Plus subscribers at no additional cost. We want to express our deep gratitude for Darrington's grace and understanding through this, and helping ensure we do right by our community. If you've already purchased a collection and have a Pro membership, we'll automatically reimburse your purchase as account credit. If you purchased a collection and you're not a Pro subscriber, you'll continue to have access to those parts. So in other words, all Pro and Pro Plus subscribers will now receive the Daggerheart content for free, and those subscribers who have already purchased it will receive credit, and those who bought it without a subscription will keep what they have already paid for. All in all, that seems like a pretty fair resolution. But here's the part of the statement that has the community divided. In the future, we're unsure how or if we'll be able to bring these bigger licensed IP collections to heroforge in a sustainable way, but we'll continue to listen to our community and let your input and values guide our path. So why has this one sentence split the fan base? Well, some users are thrilled that heroforge reversed course and will seemingly avoid paywalled DLC in the future, and others are disappointed at the possibility that we may never see official large IP collaborations again. And it also raises questions about what will happen to any future paid content already in development, especially future Daggerheart expansions. Those disappointed by the prospect of lost IP DLC argue that it should be up to the users to decide whether or not to buy these packs, even if it meant paid DLC became more and more prevalent on the platform. But here's the thing. I think many aren't against the concept of licensed content altogether, but rather how it was implemented. The one thing I really question as a user is how a creative and smart team like the folks at Sky Castle, heroforge's parent company, can't come up with a better system for licensed content than locking parts behind a paywall for all users. Because even if a revenue split per model wasn't viable, I can still think of a few alternate solutions off the top of my head. And here are just a few. Option 1. Use the existing business model. This one seems so obvious that I feel like I must be missing something, because heroforge already has a system in place that can handle this. Treat licensed content the same way they treat pro features like token maker or kit bashing. Accessible while your subscription is active, and if your subscription expires, you can't use those models, including that content, until you renew. For Pro Plus subscribers, treat licensed parts like character packs. If your subscription is active when the content drops, you get it for free, and if you join later, you can still use a credit to unlock it. And for those who don't want to subscribe at all, offer a lower cost a la carte option. And side note, since we're on the subject of character packs, I would encourage the heroforge team to lean into character packs with the licensed IP. For example, have a character pack focused solely on Daggerheart branded characters. That should be incredibly easy to split. Option 2. Free to try, pay when you buy. So here's an idea. Release the pieces for free for all users. Make them accessible in the character creator by default. Then, when a user decides to actually purchase a digital model or physical print, they pay the extra amount for that content pack then. People are already willing to pay more for multiple figures on a base or for oversized XL figures, and I honestly think they'd be more open to paying for licensed content at the point of sale. And once you buy that content once, you own it forever. You don't have to pay that licensing fee again for that pack when ordering future models. I realize that this is a very subtle distinction from what heroforge tried to implement, but it's still an important one. It removes the paywall to access those parts within the creator while still offering an easy-to-track method for splitting revenue between heroforge and licensed IPs. It seems like the best of both worlds. heroforge and IPs get their licensed revenue, and users retain their creative freedom within the character maker. Option 3. Scrap paid DLC entirely. This one seems like heroforge is seriously considering. If there truly isn't a fair way to handle licensed content without creating division, then maybe, as heroforge speculates, it's simply not a sustainable business model. As they said themselves, introducing collections has created real division in the community. Over the years, miniature crafting has become a beautiful shared hobby. The community has made it clear how crucial that sense of equality is to maintain. That community-first sentiment really resonates with me, and clearly it resonates with them too. Now, these are just a few options, and I'm sure that if Sky Castle and heroforge put their minds to it, they could come up with something even better. At the end of the day, heroforge deserves credit for listening to their users and reversing course. That shows they genuinely care about their community, and that's something worthy of recognizing. This whole saga is messy, but it highlights something rare: a community that cares enough to speak up, and a company that cares enough to listen. But what do you think? Is it a good thing that paid DLC might be dead forever on heroforge, or did the community shoot itself in the foot by potentially limiting future IP collaborations? It's a complicated, nuanced issue, but I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. That wraps it up for this one. Hopefully next time we'll be talking about something more fun. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, let your day be a critical success.